Today I want to talk about dashboards. I've talked about dashboards before. I talk about scorecards a lot, but I want to talk about them as a management tool. It's like owners managing other managers using a scorecard. There's two problems here. Number one is most businesses are terrible about defining what winning exactly looks like for them. And if they can't define what winning looks like, then there's no way they're going to be able to tie that to some kind of daily scoreboard that everybody can see. The second problem is that if they do define what winning looks like, they're usually not really defining what winning looks like. A great example of this is business owners will say, well, we want to become $1 million company. But what they really want is a certain standard of living that is based on the net income from what they perceive to be $1 million company. So maybe they want $250,000 of net income, and they feel like if they get to $1 million, they'll get there. But they get to $1 million and their net income only goes from $150,000 to $175,000, and they haven't really won in their mind. Now, I think there's a lot better things to base winning on, but that's just an easy example for everybody to wrap their head around. Here's another one. The accounting and legal professions are notorious for their focus on billable hours. I do not like billable hours. And they'll come up with these scorecards for the people in certain departments to measure their performance against billable hours. And they define that as winning, hitting a certain number of billable hours as winning. In the meantime, if it takes you too long to turn around projects, or you're unresponsive to clients, or you're over budget on items, or clients just get fed up with the surprises involved with opening up an invoice and they never know how much is going to be there, then you're going to lose customers and you're not going to grow your business. So you've defined winning as something that is internally important, but externally the rest of the world doesn't care about your scorecard because they don't care how many billable hours you produced. If you want to follow the sports analogy just a little bit further, bear with me. On every single team, you're going to need to focus on different things depending on which part of the team you're dealing with. So there could be a master scorecard, and that's what the team as a whole pays attention to, and that's what the coaches pay attention to. But let's take football, for instance. You have offense, defense, special teams. The defense doesn't have a whole lot of control over their team's score, but they do have control over the other team's score. The offense doesn't have a whole lot of control over what the other team scores, but they can't control how many points they put on the board. And special teams can control field position and hopefully get a turnover or two. The coaches for those individual units will have their players focused on very specific measures that are involved in getting their part of the team to win. So if you're on offense, the only thing the coaches are pushing you for is first downs. First down, first down, first down, first down. Enough first downs, you're going to score points. On defense, the only thing the coaches are pushing you to is eliminating first downs for the other team. How do we get them to three and out, three and out, three and out, punt, punt, punt? For special teams, the only thing their coaches are focused on is field position. Get good field position, whether we're punting and trying to back the other team up, or whether we're receiving and we're trying to give our offense a good start. Focusing relentlessly on those things does have a direct outcome on what the eventual score is. And those are good examples of how you can motivate a segment of the team with their own individual scorecard. But putting together that individual scorecard is important, because if you focus on the wrong things, it's not going to be tied to the eventual outcome. You need to think really hard about what those individual scoreboards should look like for certain segments of your team. Most likely you're not sharing the full set of financial statements with them. That's kind of the jumbo scorecard. That's the one the owners are paying attention to, that defines winning and losing for just about all aspects of their business. you're not sharing that with everybody, or maybe you are sharing it, but it's hard to see, it's hard for them to see how their group impacts those bigger numbers. You need to come up with a scorecard that they can focus on. And it shouldn't be focused on anything that's only internal to them, things that only they're going to care about. It should be focused on things that are going to drive the ultimate scorecard, things that are outward facing for the business, things that have to do with customers. If you can get stuff that has to do with customers, you're usually on a really good track for focusing on the things that are going to have an impact on the eventual outcome. See you guys tomorrow.